OP chatted with the young girl thinking that Annie was one of her little sister's friends, which Annie then responded that she didn't know her sister, but told OP to come to her Roblox game. At first, OP ignored the message, but then Annie continued to message her until she finally gave in and joined Annie's place. Annie freaked out and got so excited to see OP. She told her a few things that she liked, such as cookies and cats, until she had to leave 10 minutes later because her mom told her it was time for bed. They both logged out of Roblox and hadn't talked until a week later. Annie messaged OP to come visit her game again, but this time, instead of being her bubbly self with smiley text messages, she put frowny faces instead. Even her avatar changed to a sad face. Annie then started to ask OP some very disturbing questions, such as,
"Do you ever want to touch rusty nails? Have you ever eaten a raw dog? Where do you live?"
OP then told her those questions were making her feel uncomfortable and asked her to stop, but she didn't. She kept asking the same questions and wouldn't let her leave until she answered them. OP had enough, left the game, and blocked Annie. 2 days later, angry that OP was ignoring her, Annie sent a bunch of upset messages insulting OP and guilt-tripping her. OP ignored her messages and joined a game of Death Run, which then got redirected to Annie's game. As OP had joined the game, she noticed that there was blood on Annie's face. This time, Annie didn't ask her anything disturbing, but instead spoke with her about things that she liked but without her usual prep. After a while, Annie suddenly said it's hot in here and left the game immediately after. The sky grew dark and her house set on fire. Out of curiosity, OP went into the house and saw a dark burning figure with a grotesque smile. She left the game and logged out of Roblox, only to never see Annie again. So after that, I decided to investigate Annie's game. There wasn't much to it. It was a starter Roblox game, but with everything pink, so there were pink houses, pink trees, etc. The only strange thing that I saw was that there was a baby girl in the main house, and there were a bunch of dogs and one cat outside the house. A few days later, Annie added me as a friend on Roblox. I accepted her friend request and I played her game. A few minutes later, I was able to join her in-game. So we chatted for a bit and I asked her where she's been, and she said, "I have been grounded." She then told me she had to be quiet. Her house stood on her bed and faced the wall. I then asked her if everything was okay at home. She didn't reply to that, but instead, she started singing. "Bring around the real roses, pocket full of posies." That's not a good song. That is not. I'm getting out of here. Ashes, ashes. No, I'm scared. I'm out. I'm out. That's scary. Oh my gosh. She also had no siblings. Her mother, however, had serious issues and took them out on her daughter. If Annie stepped even a little bit out of line, she would punish her in an incredibly cruel and unusual way. Locking her in a closet, poking her with sharp, rusty objects, making her eat her dog, and then mocking her for all of that afterwards. After a while, Annie couldn't stand it anymore and plotted to fight back against her mother and escape. She was unsuccessful. Annie's mother gravely injured her and then burned down the house with Annie inside. In conclusion, Annie was a story that was written by a girl who was 13 at the time and wanted to try and write an interesting story. She didn't know the story would get so popular, and her intention was never to scare anyone. Honestly, this is still one of my favorite creepypastas, and I think Herschel and write an his wife, legend of. So we then found an image link on Annie's profile. Based on my own observation, it looked like Annie was forced to eat the raw dog by her mother, who she drew as a monster. And then Annie regretted it. Her sin was that she ate her own dog. So this is the myth behind the legend of Annie. You can see in the video that there's evidence of OP talking about how she writes